Hello and welcome to today's video where I'm going to talk to you about tape measures and some of the different functions they have and a little bit more detail into what they can offer and give you information about, whereas most people might not know that they have all these different functions. This right here is a 30-foot Craftsman, 1-inch thick blade. Nothing too fancy, it's a little old, tracks a little slow, but it gets the job done. Tape measure, its main purpose is to measure lengths of distance, usually from foot to 35 feet. You're probably not going to get a longer one that's inefficient for a tape measure. The spring probably can't pull it all in too quick. And if you're doing under a foot, it's good if you already have it, it's fine. But maybe a speed square or a ruler if you're just in a house is going to be fine. Most tape measures, at least in the United States where I'm talking about, are going to have, like this one right here, is a pretty standard marking for a carpenter. How it works, has inch marks every inch, as you could guess. In these inches, it has half marks, the biggest marks, then quarter inches, and 16/8 of an inch, and even 16ths of an inch as the smallest one. So carpenters, they get very precise actually, and so this is very important, not just to make if you say 10 inches, not just be like, whoop, no, you go to 10 inches, not 10 and 1/16, not 9 and 15/16, you go to 10 inches. That is one of the main features. I mean, I probably don't need to tell you. With that, has marks very clear at the foot marks, 1, 2 foot, 3 foot, and also it does a nice job of putting in red the combination of both feet and inches, so that you can combine 27 inches, 2 feet, 3 inches, or you can just do math. 2 feet is 24, plus 3 is 27. That might seem basic, I get it. You're waiting for the cool stuff. We'll get there. Some other things. Red right here, 1/16, stud. What does that mean? This is very useful for a carpenter or a framer who is laying out studs. Studs are laid generally in most places on either 16 or 24 inch centers, mostly 16. What that means is you can lay this out on a big beam of wood and you can quickly mark the center of where the studs are. You can do math, and of course 16, 32, 48, 64, 90, well, I don't know. Or you can just look at the quick red stud. If you aren't working with studs, it might not be too useful. However, if you're in a house and you want to lay like a picture frame on a stud, put this against the end of the wall and you can find your stud. So say there's a wall right here. Put this here. First stud is probably going to be 16 inches from the wall, then 32, and you can count out and see where can you hang like a picture frame on a stud without needing a stud finder. In combination of stud finder, knock on the wall, whatever your trick, listen to it, smell it, I don't know, whatever the tricks are for finding studs without a stud finder, do what you want. Or you can use a tape measure. That's a good use in the house. You don't even need to be a carpenter laying it out. Find out where a stud starts, put it at a center, find all the other studs nearby. That's a good use. Another marking is at 19 3/8 of an inch. So 19 3/8, what's that, 38 and a little over? Well, yeah, 13 6/8, something like that. Yeah, I think so. This right here is a marking that you're probably not going to use. It's for laying trusses for framers, and it's used on building roofs. It helps with the angles, and just same thing as the studs. It's a common measurement with roof trusses, so probably not needed. But if you do, you can learn somewhere else. Tape measures like this generally have a blade that is some thickness. This one right here is 1 inch thick. Half inch, there's all sorts of sizes, but when it comes down to it, there's 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 1.5 inches. That's the main sizes. Each one of those, it might seem random, but they have a benefit. The benefit is how far you can extend it out without it snapping. This one right here, I think is about 8 inches before it snaps. Yeah, my finger was on, 6.5. It's got holes. This is 1 inch, so it goes about 6-7 feet. Some of them, called the Fat Max, is fat for a reason. It's 1.5 inches. That right there, because it's wider, it's able to go, 11 feet like this without needing any support. So you can point to things, you can move it around without ever needing help. So when you're determining what tape measure you want, think about the thickness. How far do you want to point out, and what thickness should you get? Another standard feature of most tape measures is a clip on the back. This clip is almost always secured by one single Phillips head screw, and you can remove it if you want. So if you're in a tool belt situation, you've got something like this, you're putting a tool pouch, this right here is probably going to get in the way. I would recommend removing it because it's just going to get clipped on things unnecessarily, might get stuck on your hand a little bit. It's not going to be as smooth as the standard Just tape measure, so you can pull that off real easily. However, if you don't have a tool belt and you just want to do it, that clip can go on a belt real easily. It's pretty nice, it stays on, it's got bent in a way so it'll stay pretty stuck on there. It's still easy to remove. So if you're using it on a belt, then just keep the clip, but if not, you might want to consider taking it off to make it a little more smooth in and out and not get stuck on your doing. But it's your choice, whatever. And you can always add it later. Most tape measures, some newer ones that are a little different, have a locking mechanism. That right there pushes down with a little bit of force into stopping it so that it won't go in and out. So when you're measuring, go like this, and it'll lock it so you can say, oh, that's this distance with one hand without having to hold it. So really useful to be able to learn to use that with one hand. When I'm working with a tape measure, one of the things I found useful, I'm not sure how many other people do it, is having a finger underneath the blade and kind of just acting like a stop. Because I can stop it like this as much as I want. I can do that, but I just find it quicker to have my finger right there, stopping it quicker. So maybe you like that, maybe you don't. I just find it's a quick way that if I'm measuring something, I can stop that with my finger real quick. And then if I want, use my thumb to lock it. But it's your choice, just a little speed efficiency tip right there. Another tip, which is something a lot of people don't know, is the end. The end seems like it wiggles a little bit. You'd be like, why is that? Is it mess up or is it for a reason? And there is a reason, that's true. This right here moves 1/16 of an inch exactly. It's designed for that. Basically, this edge right here is 1/16 of an inch thick. If I'm measuring from here to me, say I want to go 6 inches, and remember, carpenters are precise. They want all the 16ths right. Say I want 6 inches, if I pushed against it, then I need 6 inches right here. However, if I was pulling it, think about this right here as a thicker thing. If I'm pulling it, now the starting point is subtracted from this because just say this is the tape measure in the head. This is just my chunky hand for a better illustration. Say the starting point is right here, the 0. If I'm pushing it, then 6 inches is here. But if I put it in, then that 0 is actually a little bit in the front. So that means it might be a 1/16 of an inch off. To combat that, if you're pushing or pulling, it'll adjust that 1/16 of an inch so it's always correct. And whether you're pushing into it, it's counted right, or if you're pulling into it, it adds that 1/16, or if you're pushing it, it's going to subtract that 1/16 of an inch properly. So that's a really cool feature that most tape measures have. Another cool thing is the bottom. This one is a little bit worn down, but you can use it as a scribe. By scribe, it's usually, like for writing, little measurement. Usually it's kind of rough. And what you can do is, say you have it right here, take it, just leave a little mark. It's not too dark. However, it's often enough that you can leave it there and come back later with a pencil and mark it. So you measure, just get a little scratch, you can mark it. Some of them are better at this than others, but that roughness actually is for a reason. One of my other favorite functions of a tape measure is this head, this hole right at the end. It might seem like, oh, that's for nothing, but it actually has a really good use. Above, say, 4 or 5 feet, if I don't have something to latch onto like this, it's really hard to hold it steady. Like say I'm trying to hold this, it's going to move around, wiggle around. Instead, put that in there. Got a little nail here. Take a nail or a screw. Really angle. Put it in there a little bit. Take the tape measure, and this hole goes right in the head of a nail or a screw, and it can pivot right there, and it'll hold it steady. So you can go like this, and it's going to hold it there nicely. If you're on rough framing work, you guys might do this all the time. However, if you're on in a house, you probably should just get a friend to help hold it for you, because you don't want to be just nailing nails in there just to hold it for a second and taking it out. But if you are doing some rough work, feel free to just nail something in and pull that tape measure as far as you need. You can back up way far away and it'll still probably hold it secure if you give it tension. If you loosen up a little bit, you won't miss it. That's why you just angle it on there and lock it in. There we go. That was some of the main features of a tape measure. Some of them I mean, I probably didn't need to tell you that there's 1/2 inches, 8 inches, 1/16 of an inch, but it's good to know. However, some of these ones, like at the end, put it right there, you lock that head in, that's good, that you might not have known. Also, studs or maybe the locking tip with the finger, let us know in the comments if you learned anything new from this. If not, maybe give us a dislike, whatever. If you like these tips, you want to learn more, visit our blog or visit our website for some of these cool tool pouches at rdawg.com. That's rdawg.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.